Welcome back to my channel, a little bit about everything. I was sawing some cedar maybe 2 or 3 days ago, and I had 3 blades left, and I thought I was good because normally I get a long life out of a blade, right? And maybe I'll make a video on that later on blade sharpening and lifespan of blades, but I was snapping blades prematurely. They weren't lasting as long for some reason. And what I mean by that is an hour, 2 hours, 3 in a row, and I got to thinking. I did a little bit of research, and a long time ago, so I already knew this. The pulleys on the mill, you do not want your blade to ride on the pulleys. There is a belt on the LT40, and they're all the same. It's a B57CE belt, and it's specially made to ride on the outside. Okay, and what I mean by that is this portion is flat, so is the blade, and it has some fabric on it, some gripping fabric, so the blade doesn't spin, more friction. The driver's side of the belts or the blade, the driver pulley, the belt was riding too low and I was striking the pulley. Now I already know that that pulley is worn out, but I was changing belts, and it's a cheaper alternative, but it's not a fix, it's just a repair. The fix is to buy the pulley, and you're better off getting the WOOD-MIZER pulley because it's lighter, and a lighter pulley is easier to get spinning and easier to stop spinning. Now the other, you can get a pulley that's the same size and it'll do the same job, but it's 21 pounds. There's only one manufacturer that I know of that makes it, and that's a lot of weight to toss around. So you're better off getting the one from WOOD-MIZER. It's probably been milled down or specially poured or cast for that purpose, right? And I also noticed there was a leak in my toe hydraulics, and what I mean by that is the toe hydraulics is what lifts the log to take the taper out of it. So when you take your cut, you want to follow the heart of the lumber, right? Well, there's always a 15-degree taper from one end to the log to the other on a 16-footer. That's the average 15 taper, right? So you need that cylinder to lift up the log so you can get your heart on the same plane as your blade. Okay, and I noticed a leak, so I decided I was going to change the seal in it. There's a kit that's available for it, so I'm going to do that. And yeah, so let's get on with it. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. This is the idler pulley, okay, and if you look on the belt, it's starting to wear a little bit. I can feel a ridge with my fingernail right on the belt, and it sits a little lower. Now the manual says you should have an 1/8 on a new belt. You should have an 1/8 between the steel pulley and the top of the belt. And the belts are specialties, right? They're B57CE, and they're made special because it rides on the outer edge of it. So the outer edge has to be flat. If it's round, your belt's going to slip, come untrack, right, and slide off the pulley. Okay, but this isn't where the problem is. It's on this side. This mill has done over 1 million board feet of lumber. It's part of the million board foot club. And this is a brand new belt I have here. See? Brand new belt. And if I remove the belt and I look inside, the edges here are rounded off. It means that the belt rides on a limited amount of material lower, so it wears in faster. And the faster it wears in, eventually your blade under tension rides on the steel of the pulley, and it starts putting unnecessary stresses on that blade, and they wear them out a lot faster. And like, this is a temporary fix for me. I put on a brand new belt. If I can get it on there. There. So right now you see the spacing. That's a little underneath an 8, but it should ride a tad bit higher. So the old belt was worn out, and you could really feel it. It only wore out on the bottom portion of it. Below the nylon here, you see the belting below there, it wore out there, and the top is still there. So the pulley itself has to be replaced. And on 1990s, they are $308 plus tax. You can get online replacements like other places, but they're heavier. Look at how heavy that is. And I'm guessing that's a replacement, because this one was made a lot lighter. So the motor strains less to get it wheeling, and it strains less to stop it. So the replacement is 21 pounds, and I'm guessing this is only like maybe 10 pounds. So there's a lot of metal that's been removed for this application. So it's better to buy from the dealer. So that's one fix. And the other problem is I've got to replace the seal in this cylinder. Now they sell the replacement seals for that. And what's happening is I'm losing a lot of fluid. And also I bought a new decal for this, because it's been wearing off, so I bought a new decal for it. Find out where I'm going to tie it. 2. Push this through. And once it's loosened up, I'm gonna blow it off to make sure. I don't want to bring dirt into the system. So whilst I have this nozzle here, again, seems to be a little more smooth. It's already started. Reservoir, it's not going to leak out. So this is the cylinder, and it's comprised of 2 springs, return springs. There's only 1 feed to it, which is the lift, and this is the tow bar. Okay, and they've got stoppers here so it doesn't, and a spacer, so that's the maximum of the lift. And I also took out the blade tensioner. This is faulty and I'm going to change it, and I'm going to go in there and try not to destroy the seal that's in there and see if it's an O-ring. If so, I bought a kit of O-rings. If not, I'm just going to put the same old seal back in. So let's start by taking this apart. I'm guessing that's 9/16. And I would be right. Just gonna go get my ratchet. Oh, it's loose. Funny thing is, I gotta change both of them, and by the time I thought of ordering the second one, maybe 15 minutes later, the thing had already been prepared and shipped out. They're fast. So on this, I don't know why, but it comes with a piece of it that's been milled out of it. I don't know if it's for an attachment or what, but both of the pieces I have here were like that, and they're galvanized, so they don't rust. Now, are these going to spin? No, they can't. Is this 3/4? Yep. I don't know if the spring's going to pop out at me. Somebody's already been in here because that's not a factory spacer. So, these were never, it's just springs, right? So I'm going to clean that out. There's enough oil in it to keep it from rusting, which is not a bad thing. And now I should probably go blow this off because I don't want to get any dirt in the cylinder. So I'll be right back. So I've cleaned up my parts, and now take this apart. Got to clean those. But this should just be a piston. If it's not destroyed. So there's no scoring. Oh, there's a little tad scoring on there. I can't do much about that. I can't resurface this or rechrome it, but I think you can get the whole assembly if you wanted. I'm not even going to touch it with a sandpaper, I think, because I'll probably do worse. Like even if it was like an 800 grit or something. Right there. I don't know if the camera will pick it up. Right there. where the glare is, right below the glare, you see those lines? There's a tad bit of scoring, but not a whole lot. Now, if I look in here, there's some fluid and the seal. The seal is riding on top. I don't know if that's visible or not. It's right here. I'm just going to get a clean piece of tissue and pull that seal out. And then I'll wash it out with brake clean just to make sure that there's no grit left in there to cause some pitting and some scratching. Got a set of dental picks here. Just going to take a little bit of, the system uses Dextron 2 or Dextron 6, whatever you can get your hands on. It's ATF, right? I don't know what number they were at back in the 90s, but it's always evolving to something new. But I use Dextron fluid. Maybe I should have used Type F. That's from the 70s, right? The A1, 2, and 3s from the Fords. There's a number on this. And I'm going to top off the fluid in the reservoir. That's why I bought this. Maybe put some in the cap. Just enough so that I can dip the seal in it. Right, very good. I'm so afraid to have a little speck of dirt on my fingers. That will screw everything up, especially if it's sand or silica or something. I'm too far with it. I know there are tools for this, and what happens is you actually crush it like this. And put it in such. It's in the groove now. It's in there. And I washed it dry in there with brake clean, so just going to pour a little bit of fluid in there so that it can actually wet the cylinder itself so it doesn't run dry. So that's all nice and wet in there. Oh, I'm leaking all over the place. I'll go some backwards. That not seated. It just slides in there. Yeah, it's seated. It would slap my fingers. That's what's going to happen. So it finally went in there. Assembly's just the reverse, right? So I'm going to put those in, bottom it out, flip it on its end, and now the spacers. Springs, washers, nuts, okay, and on this side, the bar goes on the inside, and I want that to be in this fashion. Oh, I know what this is for. It's to clear the top of the cylinder. This goes like this. Go. And now flat washer nut. I always put copper grease on these things and tighten them snugly. Don't have to torque them, but they have to be snug. But if you go too snug, you'll break your bolt. So it doesn't have to be wrenched down, just to make sure that it doesn't come undone. Because if you're in the middle of nowheres and all of a sudden fastener, where do you find a fastener, right? Test it out now. Not coming undone. Now these are supposedly pipe thread. Icy fluid. This one's Pro Point, and it's from up to 3,500 psi. I only need it to read up to 22, even though this is a 5,000 gauge. The fluid's actually dirty in here. Pretty dirty. It's 30 years old. 40 years old. But I can see I'm looking to see if I can see it wants to push up fluid. I don't know if I've reached. I can't see. Nothing fell in it. But I can't see in there, and if it's not acting up and it's not leaking, I think I better stick with the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Because if I can't get the seal, nice, huh? Brand new dial, easy to read, got fluid in it, no erratic movement. I think that's what all I'm going to do with this. If I take this apart and I damage the seal in any which way or form, or crack the seal around here, I'm not sure how it's made in there. And right now it works. So I'm gonna stick with that instead of trying to replace a seal. I actually have to put this on first with the tensioner, so I can put the blade on there so I can then fiddle around with these to tighten them up. The motor housing was loose here, so you have to take this part off, and there are 4 other screws underneath